William and Stacy stepped out of the elevator. The excited man hurriedly pulled a key from his pocket to open the apartment door, but the young woman looked at him incredulously, uncertainly, and said with doubt in her voice, "William, why don't we go to a hotel like we always do? I don't feel comfortable. This is another woman's territory. It smells like your wife. I wouldn't be comfortable. I don't like it. I don't want to see all this." William stood still for a moment, then brought his hand to his lover's chin and stroked her chin with his thumb. He smiled reassuringly at her afterward. "Stacy, don't be nervous. I'm fine. I'm sick as hell of being alone with you in a hotel. Why should you be uncomfortable in my apartment? My wife is with her mother in another city. She doesn't realize I'm already back from my business trip. I purposely didn't tell Laura so that you and I could have a quiet time at my apartment instead of the hotel, so don't worry about anything. Come on in. I have so many plans for tonight." William kissed his mistress on the lips and hurriedly opened the door. As they entered the apartment, they both ignored the man's sneakers and the woman's shoes in the hallway. With all the passion of a man who was hungry for a woman's caress, William pounced on his mistress and greedily fell on her lips. He wrapped his arms around Stacy's waist and led her smoothly into the bedroom without breaking the kiss. William almost fainted when he opened the bedroom door and saw his wife in bed in the arms of another man. They were doing what William and Stacy planned to do in the very near future. "Laura," the man exclaimed, stunned by the surprise, and looked at his wife, who was equally shocked. "Stacy, you ... what are you doing here?" Harry said, pulling away from Laura and staring at his wife in shock. All four were in great shock and stared at each other dumbfounded. There was a tense silence in the room. No one dared to be the first to break it. Ironically, William was married to Laura and Harry to Stacy. William was sleeping with Harry's wife, while Harry was secretly dating William's wife. As we know, everything secret sooner or later comes to light. William went on a business trip every few months and left his wife in one neighborhood and his mistress in another. He did not love his wife, but he was in no hurry to divorce her, because life with her was comfortable. Laura was a good hostess, tasty cooking, decent earnings. Scandals in a flat place did not arrange scandals. With Stacy, William secretly met more than a year. With her, he had an unbridled passion, which he never experienced in relation to his wife. The man was quite satisfied with his life. At home, he was always waiting for a successful wife with a hot, delicious dinner, and in the hotel, passionate, liberated woman, ready to love and give himself to his feelings. The last time William went on a business trip, his wife flew to visit her mother in another city, saying she wanted to spend a few months with her sick mother and would only come back after his return. William, bringing his mistress to the apartment, had no idea that Laura had returned unannounced, that he would catch her in bed with his mistress's husband. Yes, it was all very confusing and complicated. All four looked at each other disconsolately for some time. William was the first to speak. "You two had better go now," he said to the mistress and her husband. "You'd better." "Why leave?" Harry said in a disgruntled tone, wrapping the blanket around his waist and standing up. "As it happens, I think we should all talk." "I agree with Harry," Laura supported her lover. "You two leave the bedroom and let us get cleaned up. Wait for us in the living room." "Ahem. Like you have something we haven't seen before." Stacy grinned wryly and was the first to leave the bedroom. She was immediately followed by William, who was still in shock. "William, what are we going to do now?" "I still can't believe that my husband is sleeping with your wife," Stacy asked in a worried voice, sighing heavily on the couch. "I still can't believe that my husband is sleeping with your wife." "They're probably thinking about it in the bedroom too, and saying exactly the same thing. The man chuckled and took out a cigarette to smoke, but immediately abandoned the idea. We're in deep shit. It's the kind of story the scriptwriters never dreamed of. It's funny to you, but not so funny to me. We're at an impasse. What are we gonna do now? I told you we'd go to a hotel. You didn't want to. This is all your fault. Don't panic now, Stacy. What happened is what happened. After all, we caught them in bed, not them catching us. Rearranging the sum of the parts doesn't change the sum, remember? The fact remains. I think I have a great idea. Let's tell those two that we knew about their secret affair, and to get back at them, we agreed to pretend we were lovers. Don't be ridiculous. Who would believe that crap? We actually kissed passionately, remember? At that moment, Harry and Laura, who were already dressed, came into the living room. They had serious faces. How long have you two been lovers? Stacy asked her husband directly, standing in front of her with his head down. Harry, I didn't expect such treachery from you. You, an educated man, a university professor, stooped to treason. How could you? I thought you really loved me. Harry, hearing his wife's words, turned red with anger. He grinned with annoyance and answered her reproachfully and angrily. So, Stacy, you think you can cheat on me, but I, a respected man, a professor, can't. That's an interesting logic. I thought you loved me too. At least I thought I did, until I saw you leaving the hotel one day. I wondered what you were doing there. You got into William's car. I immediately took a picture of the license plate and used it to find your lover very quickly. I started following you and soon found out that you'd been cheating on me for a long time. I wondered what I should do next. I decided to avenge your betrayal by telling William's wife. I found out that Laura was working for a small retail company as a manager. So I met Laura, showed her the pictures of you and William. We started following you together. You saw each other so often at the hotel. Laura and I went to a nightclub, hung out together, had a few drinks. We both went crazy. We woke up naked in the same bed in the morning, and that's how it worked out. We soon realized that, as it turns out, in many ways similar to each other, we have a lot in common, including the betrayer partner. It was spontaneous. We started dating. Laura, did you want to get back at me in this way? William asked his wife in surprise. Is that why you contacted him? At first I really wanted to, Laura admitted, but then it hurt to realize that you were sleeping with another woman. But over time I grew attached to Harry. He made me feel so cozy and comfortable. You never paid any attention to me. Sometimes I felt like I was just a background for you, nothing more. But with Harry, I felt needed and loved. I've told Laura many times that we should both divorce and be together, but she wouldn't agree, Harry said, taking Laura's hand. But we talked about it again recently. We agreed that when William returned from his business trip, she would tell him everything and file for divorce. I'll do the same. The thing is, Laura's pregnant. She's expecting my child. What William was surprised and looked at his wife in amazement. So he got you pregnant? Yes, Laura confirmed and hugged Harry. I'm expecting a baby and I want to leave you. You and Stacy can be together now, just like Harry and I can be together. I want my baby to grow up with its real father. Besides, I'm tired of lying and pretending that I'm very happy with you, William. William was shocked by what he heard. He stormed out of the apartment without saying a word. Harry, I'll give you a divorce if that's what you want. But I'm not leaving the apartment. We bought it together. I'll live in it. I don't have another place to live, and I'm not giving it up. Don't get your hopes up. I'm not going to claim it, Harry said. The apartment will be yours. Laura and I will raise our child in the house I inherited from my mother. I was beginning to suspect that you weren't leaving me because you didn't want to lose the apartment. Laura packed her things and went to Harry's house. She divorced William. The divorce ended Stacy's relationship with Harry, but Stacy, unlike Laura, did not want to move in with William. It was hard for William to be alone because he was used to returning to a clean, well-maintained apartment in the evening after work, where home-cooked food smelled delicious, and to putting on a perfectly ironed white shirt in the morning. After the divorce, William was deprived of all these benefits, and Stacy stubbornly refused to take Laura's place, who successfully managed to combine work and housekeeping. Because of this, William and Stacy began to quarrel. Their relationship deteriorated after the secret came out. "If you don't want to move in with me, then I'll move in with you," William said one day, which angered Stacy. "No," she cut her off. "You'll live in your apartment and I'll live in mine." "But why?" the man asked in bewilderment. "Don't we love each other?" "I just got rid of one man in the house. I don't need another one here. I want to live alone, you know. I don't want to wash your underwear and look all over the apartment for your scattered socks, then stay in the kitchen for hours to feed you a nice dinner and please you. I didn't do any of that with Harry, and I'm not going to do any of that with you. Look, honey, don't make this any harder than it has to be. We're good in bed. Let's keep it that way." "You say that as if you don't love me," William said grudgingly. "Don't you want to take care of the one you love?" "When did I ever say I loved you?" "I always said I was happy with you." "That's not the same thing. You're in a bad mood today. Let's talk next time. I have to go anyway. I have an appointment at the beauty parlor." Stacy and William's relationship did not last long. Their quarrels quickly turned into scandals, which became a constant phenomenon. Eventually, the passion that had been there disappeared. Not a trace of it remained. Stacy became bored with William, and one day she found a new lover, a fitness trainer. So William was left alone and learned to live a bachelor's life. He never remarried, and Laura and Harry together bring up a son, in whom they do not spare a soul. The end?